Dear all, good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for joining in. My name is Tugas Toussaint, and I'm the country managing director for the Benelux for Veepee. And during this presentation, I will give you a bit more insights and a look behind the walls and of what it is that we do at Veepee. And this is all framed behind the catchphrase "thinking out of the box," because I think thinking out of the box is something that everybody, all of us who actually use it on a day-to-day basis, I think, to push our teams to creativity and to innovation. And that's also what we do at Veepee. But at Veepee, this also captures the essence of what we do on a day-to-day basis, because we are a pure player, and everything that we sell, everything that we deal with our customers, actually comes in a box. And so the end result of what we do is delivered in a box to your doorstep as a customer, and you need to unfold it, you need to unbox it. So when we say thinking out of the box, it's on the one hand side really driving this creativity and innovation of our teams, but also making sure that they look in the mirror and say, does this actually help our customer? Does this help getting something out of the box? Does this help getting it delivered? Does this help getting the box delivered to the customer? And does this give a better experience? And that's the double layer that we tried to implement with this catchphrase at Veepee, and where I think it is a nice summary of how we drive creativity and innovation while still thinking about our customers and how they experience it. So I'll go through a couple of slides, but should you have any questions or comments, feel free to already post them during the presentation in the chat box on this platform. We have our communication manager, Chantal, who is also present, and she will curate the questions so that we can immediately dive into them after the presentation. So, what is it that we do at Veepee? Normally, in a live presentation, I would like to raise hands of people who actually have heard of Veepee and who have purchased at Veepee. In a digital world, it's a bit more difficult with so many participants. So that's why a couple of words of experience, or sorry, explanation of what it is that we do at Veepee. We are a flash sales player. It's a unique concept. It's a concept that is different than the other e-commerce shops that are around, and it differs in a couple of arguments or a couple of elements. First and foremost, we are a closed website, which means that we are exclusively accessible, for our members. And you can become a member quite easily by identifying yourself, by making an account, which is a hurdle on the one hand side, obviously, but also which has a couple of advantages of selling propositions that we can actually bring to our brands, because everything that is done on the platform of Veepee is actually not accessible to Google. So if as a brand you put your items live at a discount on the Veepee platform, you won't pop up in the shopping area of Google or on the search area of Google when you type, "I'm looking for this brand at promotion." None of those items will actually pop up on Google, which is a kind of protection towards the brands and their price points in the normal market. There's also this temporality about the word flash, and that's actually what the word flash incorporates in the description or in the definition of flash sales, is that it's temporary. We put offers live, we put sales live, anything between 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 days. Which means concretely that if you log on as a member today and you log on next week, Thursday, you will actually not find the same brands that you saw today next week. So you also need to be quick, because the offer that you see will evaporate over time. And you actually need to be quick for a second reason, because we have limited stock. We don't operate in the full price segment, so we don't have the full accessibility to stock. We have a certain stock accessibility of stock that has a certain life cycle. And that life cycle is, or the part of the life cycle, sorry, where we tap into, is stock that is ready to be sold off price, on promotion. And by definition, that is not the full set of stock. So we can't guarantee full size distributions or perfect size distributions. So which also makes or adds to the urgency level of what we can bring to customers to purchase. And lastly, and very importantly, is we are brand driven. We do not claim to be, or we don't even want to be, the screamy hard discounting platform. You won't see screamy colors. You won't see percentages or discounts flying around and being bombarded to every customer that logs in. No, you will see a very serene, creative, and surprising atmosphere where the quality of the image of the brand are of the highest interest. So we'll always try to maintain as much as possible the image that the brand actually wants to portray, or how they use their own image and their own visuals in other channels. And this is for us super important, so it needs to be a good place to be for brands. A couple of numbers. We're an international company where our main focus is Europe, where we're operating in 9 countries. We also have an operation in Brazil, but that's quite separate, as you can imagine. As a group, we did in 2020 close to 4 billion euros of turnover, so quite sizable, and we welcome around, or we have a member base of around 66 million members in Europe, of which, and this is more important, 4.5 million of them come on a daily basis. These are not the same every single day, but this is quite a stable amount of people that we can actually welcome on a daily basis on our platform. If you would revert this to the Benelux or translate this to the Benelux, this actually means that we have around 200 to 250,000 unique visitors on our platform every single day. That's 400 to 500,000 eyeballs that would see your brand if you do a collaboration with Veepee. Just to put it in perspective, that's 4 to 5 huge football stadia filled that come on our platform every single day. I'm always dazzled when I say these numbers because it's huge. It's hard to imagine in a digital world that you have so many people on a day-to-day basis that grant your attention or grant their attention to your platform, which also gives you some sort of responsibility to make sure that they actually enjoy their time that they spend on your platform. We run around 150 sales a day, so around 10 to 15 new sales go live in the Benelux every single day. We'll work together with around 7,000 brands. But so we are a middleman. We are an e-commerce retailer with specific or with some specificities. But as every retailer, we need to tailor to, or we thrive if we have the two in sync, if we have the two stakeholders very much in sync. And the one stakeholder are the brands, the B2B side, and the other stakeholder are the customers, the B2C side. And what do we strive to do for them? What do we aim to do is for the B2B, for our brands, we want to be the preferred online promotional partner. And for our customers, we want to be the number one choice for online promotional shopping. I think there's two words which are the silver lining in this. One is online and one is promotional. And the two are super important. We are a pure player. We don't have offline activities. We don't have stores. We don't have brick and mortar. Everything that we do is purely online. And promotional is one of the silver linings. It's the red thread through everything that we do. We will never ever do full price. Everything that we do has to have a discount, has to have a good value for money versus what you can find elsewhere in the market. And that's our dream, that's our commitment, that's our purpose. And then we try to serve for any of these two stakeholders, we try to serve their needs as best as possible within that time frame or within that frame. So for brands, we actually help them to grow and develop their business, to promote their brand. Because if you put a campaign live, if you do collaboration with Veepee, your brand is actually visible for 5 to 6 to 7 days, for a week, let's say, to every single day 200, 250,000 unique visitors in the Benelux only. That's a huge amount of eyeballs that actually get to see your brand. And you can think about international expansion, where you can access the Spanish market in a very accessible way by working with us and getting some traction in a new market that you haven't been active in before. So we're actively looking for new customers and recruiting new customers for your brand, especially because we remove obstacles or we lower obstacles with this promotional aspect. This means that your brand actually gets or is more accessible and easily accessible for people who haven't purchased it yet, because now they actually need to spend less money to try your brand. And for brands, we also help them in this way to be present in e-commerce online, and especially for your promotional part. So we try to give a very easy access to becoming omni-channel in their distribution model. And I think it needs no words to say, especially given the last couple of months and year, that e-commerce is a growth generator and a growth accelerator for many of those brands. And lastly, we provide them with data, but more importantly, we provide them with insights. We have this huge bulk of data that we sit on. We identify everybody on our platform. We can consolidate that and obviously anonymized, draw tons of insight out of those analyses. We can define who your user profile is. We can define what other brands they purchase. We can define where you have good penetration in certain area, for example. So these are all services that we can render to our brands as well. And then for our customers, we need to be having a super well-connected platform that they can take in their pocket everywhere they go, and then when they want to shop, that they can shop. And secondly, we need to make sure that we give them value for money, that we can give them the best value for money for everything that they purchase on our platform. And we do that in a personalized and relevant way. We need to make sure that when they come to our platform, when they grant us their attention, that we can actually serve them the right brands for their attention span and for their interest. We need to make sure that the first brands that pop up are different for me than for you, for everybody in this room, to make sure that we can capture that attention and that we can keep them on our platform. And we try to do that, as I said before, we try to use this sauce of entertainment and surprise and creativity in our shopping experience. And this is even more so in our new platform, the platform that is already live in France and it's coming our way, where we try to entertain the customers as well whilst they're shopping. Now, what do we sell? We don't sell everything, but we sell a lot. We've started with fashion, and over the years, gradually, we've actually added new categories. Shoes and accessories, watches, jewelry, cosmetic health, but also the larger part, home and deco, DIY garden, which was really booming during lockdowns, and then venturing into food, wine gastronomy, FMCG, going into high tech, the TVs, the smartphones, etc. And actually also over the last couple of years, we added immaterial goods. The bulk of what we do still goes into a box, but we were thinking about how can we use this member base that we have and actually offer them as many products that they're interested in, but maybe not really physical products. So that's why we started with the immaterial goods, where travel and entertainment think about tickets for amusement parks, for theaters, etc. And this is actually this was going well. However, COVID changed that, and this was one of the areas of the business that got really hardly or hit hard, as everywhere in the world, travel sector was under pressure. And now, what type of services or how do we collaborate with brands? I think the flash sales part I've already discussed at length. And we have a couple of other modes of operandi or services that we can render to our brands to serve their needs. And one is basically the one day. If you don't want to be visible for a week, you have limited products that you really would like to put out there and get great visibility, we have this one day concept. It's live for only one day, it's limited products, huge visibility, so you actually get promoted in the rankings, making sure that you see that a lot of people see your brand and you can tell your story with the products that you would like to add. And then we added new types of services because we were seeing that we were actually having more demands or more customers than we could actually offer them. And the reason for that is that we are only tapping into products that can be sold on promotion. And the way we were working before is that we reserve stock so we don't purchase. And that happened after the season when all the brands actually had retrieved and consolidated back their stock and had the surplus. At that point, we were starting to work with them. That's actually quite late in the process because as a brand, you also have, during the season, you have slow movers, you have the need for promotional activity. And that's where we stepped in with the in-shop concept, where we actually allow, obviously there's a big caveat, the brand needs to have a very thorough ERP stock management system, where we put items live where the stock is actually still in your stores and that it's shipped from that store directly to the customer, which boosts stock rotation and obviously offers this promotional activity for slow movers during the season already. And then another part that we've added is basically a marketplace. It's Brands Place. That's our name for marketplace, where we offer a connection to our audience for brands. They connect to us and they have access to our full audience. They manage the catalog that they put live, they manage the pictures, they manage the shipping, they manage the customer care, just like a normal marketplace, under one big condition. The only way where you can or why you can put products live on our platform is there has to be promotion. There has to be a discount versus the normal price. And these two together actually make us or allowed us to expand the access to stock, because we're much more into the current season where you get this slow mover activity that is also done on our platform. And then the newest service that we've added is again this immaterial service where we want to tailor to the needs of brands that don't have physical goods, but that do want to tell a story and that do want to create value for our member base by giving them an exclusive offer. Think about subscription models. Think about fitness gyms or Blue Mon or HelloFresh. Those types of companies are always in the search for new customers, and we basically give them visibility on our platform that drive audience to their platform on a landing page where they would offer our members a exclusive deal that is not visible to other members. And those are the types of things that we offer towards our brands. Now, this creativity, the part thinking out of the box, I also want to shed a couple of allocate a couple of minutes of time of what we actually do. One of those aspects in what we do is we stop the traditional social media approach where you have your brand, you have your product, you put product pictures live on social media, you put some money towards it, and people click on it and they purchase the item. Where we want to bring more creativity and make sure that our social media approach actually stands out of what other people do is we try to bring more creativity and innovation in the post that still obviously bringing the brands live, because we are still in the business to make money, we are still in the business to sell brands or branded products, but in collaboration with artists. So we have a couple of artists that we work with. When we have big campaigns, we ask them, well, make some sort of artwork, make a story behind it. And those are the things that we then post on our social media. And the last part where we try to think out of the box and bring innovation and creativity is corporate social responsibility, where we have built it up in 3 big pillars, one being the environmental impact, second being circular economy, and the last one being an inclusive society model. I think for the last one, it's pretty clear we don't discriminate. We have a huge or a very strict policy to hire the right person for the job, only looking at capabilities and no other arguments. And I think I'm very happy to say, I'm proud to say that within the top 100 managers of this company, 60% of them are actually female. So that's a statistics where we all are very proud of. But then circling back to the first one, environmental impact. I mean, there's a lot of discussions that happen about the environmental impact of e-com. And this is something that we are continuously working on. This is something where we are not there yet, especially around our packaging. We are continuously looking on how we can improve it, but we are still sending around boxes. We are still sending around poly bags, which are made out of polymers. And we are still sending around trucks of DPD, of PostNL, of bpost in this country. However, I think there's already research that is pointing towards the fact that actually e-commerce, the communitizing, the trucks that are running around in all the city centers are actually less damaging to the to the environment than if everybody takes their car or public transport to the city. And then lastly, there's a circular economy, where we have put 2 initiatives live that are helping towards this idea. One of which is Return, and this is our proper C2C platform, where we connect customers on our platform to do business. And they can actually, instead of sending a return back to us then acknowledging it, repackaging it, and trying to sell it again to the next customer, we actually put those 2 customers directly in contact so that they can actually exchange the goods and we avoid 1 or 2 steps in the logistical chain. It's good for the customer, one, because he avoids return fees, and it's good for customer two, because he can actually purchase the item at an even greater discount, and which is sponsored by the company. And then secondly, we have this very innovative and creative idea, which is recycle towards our brands. Because I mean, the power of Vinted is huge, and so the secondhand market is here to stay. For brands that are they're actually not part of it at all, because they don't know what is being sold. Their products are being sold peer to peer, but they don't know any of it, and they're not part of it. We give them actually a very easy way to be part of it, through recycle. And how it works is basically we put a banner live, such as a normal sale or like a normal sale. But when you click on it as a customer, you won't find products that you can actually purchase, but you will actually find product categories, boots, coats, shirts, dresses, and so on. And when you click on one of those categories, you can actually ship back your worn item, and you will get a voucher of the brand in return. So imagine we did this with Timberland. I have boots in my closet. I want to get rid of them. Click on boots. I ship them back to Veepee. We check them for authenticity. When that is done, you actually get a €50 voucher of Timberland to be spent in their offline or online channels. So it's generating repeat customers for Timberland, and then we will recondition the items and sell them as secondhand items on our platform, or if they're completely damaged, actually work with parties who recycle them. And this is actually giving, I think we're the only ones in the market who are offering the brands a very quick and easy access to retrieve worn items, and actually from those worn items generate new customers for their brand. And this is something that will be coming to the Benelux very shortly. But to give you a couple of stats, for Timberland, for example, we were able to retrieve 10 to 15,000 pieces in 4 days, in France only. So, all right, thank you very much for your time. I will revert back to the questions if there are in the chat. Thank you very much.